or a challenge you would like to share with everyone, jump on those documents and go ahead and add something. And remember that you have access to these documents, so you can go back and pick up the ideas that everybody shares later on when you're ready. So I'm going to let that slide sit there for about 30 seconds so you can copy the bit.lys. One of them is middle school challenge, and the other one is middle tip.
Yep.
bit.ly/.
I put them in the chat.
Great. Thanks, Lisa.
No problem.
All right. So we're going to kick off with just a little announcement. There are some extra resources in the World Book home screen. The ones that you see in the yellow squares were added for free by the company, and you can see the yellow message temporarily available. These are like other vendors. They're offering us some extra resources because of the crisis. Some of them will be useful to middle, some not. There's a French encyclopedia, and I don't even know what the other one is. I guess it's another Spanish encyclopedia. We already had one. And the science power and the social studies power might be useful for your social studies and science teachers at the middle level, or if you're doing anything with that. It sort of hovers in between upper elementary and middle, I think. So those are there. They all go through the portal. The ones that are in the yellow squares will disappear once they take the access away, but when hopefully soon the crisis will be over, I'll be happy to lose some of this stuff. It'll mean we're back to normal. All right. So we wanted to make sure everyone has the bit.ly to get to our library current site. We worked hard to put everything that we've been collecting and building and link it out from these pages. And we're going to continue to do that. So if you could take this bit.ly and make yourself a custom tile in your portal, you'll be able to click it and refer to it, or go back to things you remember we said were there, or check it for changes. I just added a John Spencer resource to the resources for teaching from home page. I actually couldn't finish it before I needed to click into the webinar. So I'm going to go back and put a little description and a label for it, but we are changing it often. So check back and use the resource. Did anybody have any questions about the library current site or comments? Did I lose everybody, Lisa?
No,
you're here.
Remember, I can't, because I only have one screen, I cannot see the chat. So Lisa's got to man the chat for me. So if I don't respond to you directly, it's because I cannot see the chat. I can only see my slides with one screen.
Not a problem. I got the chat going.
Okay, so everybody's good with the site. All right, so let's talk about today's topic, and that is the free ebooks that Mackin released. That's part of their COVID-19 crisis response. They are offering a collection of nonfiction multi-user ebooks that you can activate in the back end of your Mac and VIA. The choice is yours. So we're going to just show you how to activate those should you choose to do it, and how to curate them so that it's not so they're not lost in virtual library space, so to speak. You can see the middle square on the download thousands of ebook announcement. The green one is the middle grades titles, and it's over 3,000 titles.
There's a lot, yeah.
So we're going to talk about curating them so that they get some attention, or pulling out, the ones that are particularly useful to the curriculum at your school or of interest. So that's kind of our topic for today. How many of you, just throw it in the chat so Lisa can see, how many of you have already downloaded these books? Maybe we can skip to the end, huh, Lisa?
Yep. Well, we can talk about the curation. Lisa Petrosia has downloaded them. so glad you guys are really liking the Library Current. Several people have downloaded them.
Okay. All right, so real quick we'll just run through this, and you get these slides later because Lisa creates a Library Current newsletter, puts all this stuff in it, and sends it out as soon as the recording of the webinar is complete. So you have that as well, and then she takes those newsletters and she embeds them in our Library Current Google site. So they're archived there and you can get to them a second place. So you'll have this if you decide to go back and do this later, or you need to help a friend do it. This is how it rolls. So you log into your admin account in Mac and VIA. Now, your admin login is not your Active Directory. It's not your SAML ID. It is a login that you got from Mackin to use to shop Mackin.com or to access materials on Mackin.com, their main website. And if you don't have one, then Beth Napier is your best contact for that. Let her know your school and remind her you're in Palm Beach County. And she will be glad to help you get that account set up. I know that you can also, you're librarians, you can find information. A lot of people find their way to the number for customer service over the phone at Mackin. But Beth gets credit for helping her folks in Florida. She is the rep for all of the state. And so when we end round her, they sometimes question whether she's supporting her customers or not. It's something she shared with me. So be sure to make Beth your frontline ask when you have a Mackin issue, so that she gets credit for what she does do for us, because she does visit us face to face, and she is our Florida person. So there's her contact information for you to look at later. Okay, so those of you that have done this, once you get in the back end of your Mac and VIA, you click promotions, and then you choose the promotion you want to add. This screen shows the middle school ebook package, and then you click the activate button. Now, before you do that, you can scroll down and see the titles, so you kind of know what you're getting in advance or get an idea of what they are. But you click activate, and then you have to wait a bit, and then the books will show up, and you'll know they've shown up because that ribbon that's newest on your student side of VIA, you'll see it populated with a bunch of nonfiction books you hadn't seen before, and you know they're there. So once you have these 3,000 books downloaded, you need to organize them. You need to curate them. So we're going to go through using categories, using groups, adding links, and arranging your home page so you can highlight those while you have them, make them more visible to your patron groups. Throw in the chat so Lisa can see how many of you have made categories for your site.
I'm not seeing anyone having made categories.
Okay.
Oh, Ellen did. One of us has.
All right. So we'll look at that real quick. And in a minute, I'm going to go out live to a site and go through this too. But these slides will help you remember what we talked about. So in the back end, sorry, you go to settings, open up that drop down, click categories, then you'll get this page. You click where it will be red and disabled. You click it, it will change to enabled, and it'll be green. And then you can choose the kind of icons you have. Over on the left-hand side, you see a choice. Right now, it shows primary in this screenshot. You pull it open, and the choice is primary or secondary. You'll probably want the secondary icons. They look a little bit more grown up, if you will, but it's your choice, whichever one you like. And then you save this, and the categories will show up on your front screen. And you'll have a new tab on the left, categories, and you will have all of these different squares, a lot more than you see in the screenshot, and it will organize those 3,000 books for you. So if you want to see how many of the books are adventure titles or animal titles and so on. You click the icon and it will give you a listing of those titles. So it's almost like a subject search. It's like a tag. And you can use this later to highlight some of the topics of those nonfiction books, or the books that you already have in there will get pulled into these categories as well, by the way. So it's pretty simple. Just takes a second for it to show up, especially now when they've given all this stuff away across the country. Their servers are working a little bit slower. I did a couple of the schools that don't have a media specialist to do this for the students, and I didn't see them until the next day. So don't worry if you don't see them for 24 hours. All right. So then the other thing you can do to highlight these books is to create groups. And there's a couple steps to this. You go to the classroom tab and you choose groups, and you'll get the second screen. And you can either, from this screen, you can create a new group, or you can manage the groups that you've already made. And notice that there is not only an edit, which you can add to the group, or you can actually deactivate it. See the Google Classroom button? You can make a group and send it to a Google Classroom that belongs to you. So it's a way to highlight things if you're using them for instruction. So once you have a group created, well, let's create one. So you click new group and you do these steps. You name it, you describe it, and once you click save, it will change that red inactive button to active, like you see in step 2. And then if you are ready to add items, all you have to do is click manage resources, and it gives you a search screen. You search for titles or genres or all the different filters that are there, and pull up the books, and you just click the add button, and they go into this group. So we're going to show you groups in a minute. I'll show it to you live because you can see them 2 different ways. But another item you can add to your resources so that you can then add them to your groups are links. You can link out to materials on the web. You can use permalinks from some of our database resources. In this example, I went to Gale. I can't remember now which one, but one of the secondary Gale resources, I looked for an article on Rosa Parks. I copied their permalink, and I created a link in this Mac and Via. And you'll see when I go to the front page of Carver Middle, I have a ribbon made, African American Studies or history, however I named it. And I put not only books about Rosa Parks, but these 2 links. One of them is from the Library of Congress, and the other one is from an article from Gale. Now you can just have links of different types, and you can see them from the homepage. There's a link category, so I'll show you that as well. Or you can make links intentionally because you want to put them in a group. And then you can manage them back here. You can delete them when they no longer work or they're no longer relevant, or you can edit them from the back screen. So this is what controls the front page of your student via, what the students see. If you go to settings and you click the home page choice, you'll get this screen with the green ribbons, and you can add the groups that you've made to your home page, and you can rearrange your home page from this screen. So you can add a category. So I took, if you see the featured category, sports and recreation, I just clicked sports in categories, and you'll see them when I go to this School Live. It has all the sports books right at the top because I picked that category. It's just an easy way to pull things in. Or you could make a group that you specifically have curated certain books into. You have to make a group first. Then you can go here, you click add group carousel, pick your group, and it will appear here where you can rearrange them, and then they'll be on your front screen. So before we go back to share, I'm going to escape these slides, and I'm going to open the front page. Hopefully, Lisa, can you see the front page at Carver Middle School?
Absolutely, we're perfect.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Here's my featured category that I made by adding a category to my homepage. It's called a category carousel. This is an example of a group I made, and I added it to my home carousel. I also activated the classics for this school, and they're of mixed interest, but I made a small group and picked some that are at least reasonably interesting, maybe, as an example of another group you could make. And then, of course, you have the ribbons that are always there, newest. So here's all those nonfiction books because they're the newest ones. And then highest rated is the ones that get the most clicks, and the top resources, and then Dogo News. Now, I could rearrange these ribbons any way I want. Maybe you want top resources at the top. Maybe you want newest at the top of the screen. Maybe you're in the thick of SSYRA, you want this one at the top. You just go in that back end settings homepage and you drag the ribbons around. Or if I don't want sports here anymore at all, I go to the back end settings homepage and I click the X next to that carousel and it disappears off the home screen. But the good news is you have these things accessible over here until you completely delete the group. So for example, if I click groups over here, if it'll load, make a liar out of me, there they are. Those are all the groups I've made for this school. Not very attractive, the icons. You can also see them in list view. So even if you don't highlight the group on the homepage, you don't have to do that. You could have any number of groups here. It would just scroll down. The students can go here to find the groups. Maybe they have a different use and you don't want to necessarily link them from the homepage. I mean, the homepage is to highlight things. You can also get to any of your categories this way. That's your category tab that appears once you enable categories. And then you can click any of these icons and it will slowly load all the books from that category. And once you make links, you will have a link tab, and any links you created are here, and you can do open now. They can favorite them and so on. And when they are not pertinent anymore, maybe the link breaks, you can go in the back and delete them. I believe there's some audio books in the free. So once you activate the free books, you'll have an audio tab. And they'll appear here, and it's listen now instead of check out. And then we didn't get a chance to advertise this, but just as an aside, has nothing to do with the free books. Right before this total school shutdown disaster, Mackin helped us integrate some of our database resources directly into Mackin Via. So you can send kids here to use World Book and Gale. And they separated it by level. So they put the two world books that are pertinent to middle school, and they put the middle school in context and some select resources we thought were appropriate for middle school or useful. And General One file, they put that for everybody because it's magazine articles. So it's another access point. And it should authenticate when you open it. So then you have, all of these resources that you can group into your groups and add on your homepage, which I'm trying to get to load. There it goes, so that it looks like this for your students. One thing that Lisa and I discovered with all this is, I'm going to go back here, and I got a blunder to it because it's really important. You might want to, particularly if you don't load the 3,000 books, because we have sort of limited numbers of books and we're going to have a lot of high demand. If you go to settings and checkouts, the default on this, the limit resources was 20. If one kid can check out and therefore hold on to for 14 days 20 items off your shelf, that's going to be pretty tough, for things to get shared. So you might want to go in and customize yours to the most generous number you can, but I think 20 is probably too many at this point. So you want to take a look at that. You can also change the loan period here for your items before they're retracted, and you can change how many times they can renew them. So that might be pertinent in this situation where we're trying to share limited resources. So look at yours and see what you think makes sense, for your group. But I think that's important to take a look at.
The other thing I wanted to point out is that the hold period is for 24 hours only, and it will not email them that their holds are available. So they're going to have to check Mackin daily if they're asking for something to be held.
Yeah.
You can extend that hold period to make it a little easier for them.
Yeah,
but it will not alert them.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is the book is monopolized while it's on hold until they come and get it. Now you notice here, this is disabled. This request means they can send a message to ask for a book to be on hold, and I have it disabled because there's no one to monitor this at the school base and talk to the kids and answer their questions. So I have it disabled. Any other questions about the back end of this? Anything you want me to do again?
Throw them up in the chat. Alonzo said, Holly, can you show how to get back to that screen? He can't find it.
To the administrative screen?
Yep, to the administrative screen.
Okay. Well, yours should work this way, Alonzo. My access doesn't work this way, so I can't demo it completely. But you would be in your school on your student side. Your name should be up here. You would click the little icon. You would click administrator. And this is where you put the sign in for Mackin.com. And then you would open up this page for you. I have to go another way because I have administrative access to all the shelves. And for some reason, it doesn't work from that spot that I just showed you. But yours should work from there as long as you're using the, oh, I lost my screen. Here we go. As long as you're using your Mackin via login from the Mackin.com. Make sense?
Yep, he says he's got it.
Okay. And if that doesn't work, I'll tell you what works for me is I go, I think this is the Mackin webpage. And this is how I have to go in. I log into Mackin.com. I go to shop, and then this comes up, my account, and I go down to Mackin Via, and I open it up, and it lets me pick one of the Via shelves as the administrator. So this will probably work for you as well because everybody's got that under their account. So one way or the other, you should be able to get in. As long as you've been made administrator by Beth, it's connected. And if you can't get it to work, talk to Beth.
Yeah, Ellen said she gets it under admin when in our school, so that should totally work.
Yeah.
And Alonzo said he's in and it's working.
Great. Anything else while we're in the back end of Mackin Via?
I think we're good to move on.
Okay, good. Well, Lisa, why don't you, I'm going to go back to the slides somehow, present. It's loading. I'm going to go back to the bit.ly just in case people didn't grab it at the beginning, but why don't you go to those documents and see what everybody wants to talk about today.
All right. Do you want to pull them up or?
Well, since I only have the one screen, why don't I leave the slides? Oh, you want me to pull it up from, I guess I could do that.
It's okay. I can pull it up. So I'm going
to. The bit.ly probably works. Here we go. If everybody wants to see it, I was just thinking they had their own copy, but you're right. If you can wait long enough for this to come up. All right. So how far down should we go that was for today? Is this pretty much it? You go ahead, Lisa. Go through this and find the things that are from today. And
as I'm looking, I think we talked about the PDFs last week. But as far as inventory, there is not a lot we can do right now. Holy cow! It's just going to have to wait until next school year. There's no way to do inventory without access to our collections. So unfortunately, Vicki, there is no inventory this year.
And
other challenges?
We're going to do a session about wrapping up the virtual year. We just have to put our heads together, and Lisa and Nolan and I, and see what, if anything, we can do to kind of tie things up for the summer. For when we come back, it'll be minimal, but we thought we would just think about what does virtual closeout look like, and then do a session on it. So that's coming soon.
Holly, is there anything below inventory?
Let's see.
Oh, should we make an area just for teachers? Vicki, I'm not sure where we would be making the area. Can you type that in the chat or unmute yourself? I mean, my recommendation in terms of an area just for teachers would be to make a Google site. And I think, Vicki, this is what we were talking about earlier or last week. Create a Google site for your teachers and put all the links to the resources you want to share with them on that site. That way you're not overwhelming their inbox. They're super easy to create, very user-friendly. You can even give it a bit.ly with a custom back end. That way it's easy for them to remember, and then send out the directions for how they can make a custom tile, and they can get to that easily.
I did do that. I made the Google site, and I also sent them the instructions that you gave me. But, my school has also made their own Google Classroom with all these different places to go. And I've sent them, information to add to that site, and no response.
Oh, to add to their Google site?
Yeah, I've added stuff to my Google site, but they're not taking my information to share with the teachers either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's like,
it is.
I'm like trying to, they're kind of excluding. I feel like I'm being excluded from the literacy team.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else feel like that? I mean, it's really hard it's almost like they're not really taking the library seriously.
Yeah. Ellen just threw up a good suggestion, which was she sometimes emails her school number language arts department. So you could email, at least when I was school-based, I could email 1711 fifth grade, and I could send something to all my fifth graders. Ellen sends something to her school numbers, 1991 language arts. And just that way you just email the departments that you want to connect with. Lisa Petrosia said she just emails the language arts department as well, and Nora the same.
Okay.
It is hard.
You know what it is? It's like, it's not just them. It's the AP is not really, except she's just sort of excluding me. Even I've asked her to participate in the PLCs, and it's like she keeps forgetting me to add me to professional development and things like that.
They added me to all the language arts PLCs and reading. So I just pop in and just say, if you need me for anything, I'm here. That's all you can do, really. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get on just so they know I'm here.
Right.
For anything.
Okay.
But they've been
Yeah,
nice.
it's tough. And I think they're struggling they're trying to still work in little tiny boxes instead of really embracing the power of the online distance learning situation where people are a little bit more available, maybe. And I don't know. It's going to take time for them to understand the potential of the situation that we're in.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but as far as the Mac and VIA books, Vicki, when somebody if it's a single user license book, like the books that we buy to support SSYRA, it's a book. It's a publisher by publisher, book by book thing. So those books are single user licenses. So when somebody has the book open, no one else can open that copy. Just like a print copy. If I'm standing in the middle of your library holding a book open and reading it, and it's your only copy, nobody else, unless I lean over my shoulder, can read the book at the same time. But if I close the print book and I put it back on the shelf or lay it on the table, they can open it back up. So it depends on the license. Now those free books, that's what they mean when they say multi-user, simultaneous multi-user. Those books, everybody can open them up basically across the district, but all at once. It goes title by title. Depends on that.
I want to do a book club, but nonfiction's not usually the book club,
I know.
I know.
Book clubs are problematic because of that. And unfortunately, we don't even have any funds to add any books. So, but, popular fiction is just not sold in a multi-user license. And you'd have to buy, if you have 10 kids in the book club, you'd have to buy 10 quote copies of the ebook, and then they could each open one of the copies.
Vicki, your best bet for that, I think, would be to point your kids to either the Palm Beach County Public Library or the Mandel.
Right.
They can get e-cards, and then I believe both libraries have Hoopla subscriptions, and those are simultaneous multi-user.
Okay.
And they could all read the same book that way.
Yeah, but not
good. That's good.
The libraries have multiple ebook platforms. So only the Hoopla one is multi-user.
Right. The Cloud Library,
like Overdrive and so on, or Cloud Library. They're not necessarily multi-user.
Okay.
No.
Another thing to look into, though, that is multi-user is the Junior Library Guild streaming service that's been opened up free.
Yes, there's some good titles on that one.
Now they do that. Normally how it works, and so this is how it's working now. It's a subscription, and the books rotate off the shelf, if you will. But I don't know at what rate. So that would be the only drawback there. If you find a certain title, it's not going to be there for 5 months solid or whatever. I don't know what the rotation is. They add new titles and take some off. That's the way they explain it to me. But you could try it.
Okay.
And see how long you could, use a particular title, but those are multi-user.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. That's awesome.
Anything else? Any other challenges that your guys are experiencing? Go ahead and unmute your mic, throw it in the chat. And then we'll bring up your tips.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
I just want to take a moment and thank you guys, the support, knowing that you're there. I mean, this is my first time coming on virtually with you, but just seeing the emails, knowing you're here, it's huge. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. We appreciate you and all of you guys.
We're so glad you come and join us every week.
Yep. I look forward to it, actually.
So
I second that, you guys.
Thank you.
Lisa, Petrosia, I wanted to thank you for sharing that information about the author who's writing that quarantine book in real time. I shared it with my kids, and kids who have never been excited about reading before or I have a lot of kids who are really great artists. So they were super excited to get on there and, you know, try to be in the contest to illustrate his book. So
Where is that? Where is that?
it's on one of those, the Bitly sites that they gave where we could share ideas. Lisa
Okay.
shared it the last time. It was amazing. So thank you.
So Julie, it's probably on the bit.ly/middle tip.
Okay. I'm gonna check it.
That's what I have up right now. But you know what? I think it's faster if you guys just look at your own copy, because it's really slow presenting. It kind of seems to
Okay.
refresh slowly. You think it's on here, Lisa?
Probably.
Just
Here it is, right here. It's the first thing.
Awesome.
Is this it? The quarantine? Is that it?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes,
That's
it's on
awesome.
quarantine
Awesome.
book.
So I'm seeing this one at the bottom, which is I created a Google Meet slideshow to help teachers get started. And it's the very last one. And there is a link to the document. So whoever shared this, thank you. And it's about, they say make a copy and you can edit it for your own school so that you have it ready to go. Because I think teachers are struggling with that. It's Juanita that did it. Thank you, Juanita.
Just make sure you make a copy so you don't edit hers.
Right.
Yep.
It's great to see you guys sharing the resources together. And it was shared, I believe it was shared view only, so you're going to have to make a copy if you want to edit it. But before you send it out, definitely make a copy. This is great. As I'm looking at it, it's wonderful.
I forgot where this is located. Where is this? How do we find this again?
The screen we're on?
Yes.
Go ahead,
So that's
Lisa.
bit.ly/middle tip.
You're welcome, Juanita. I just figured out
Oh,
how
that
to,
was Lisa.
Lisa Petrosha. Yes.
Oh, it's,
sorry.
yeah,
I created,
Lisa, it's awesome.
thank you. I think I have, there's some teachers at our school who are just so tech savvy and they've jumped into this Meet session with their students full force and are loving it. And then we have, a selection of teachers who are very hesitant about putting technology, doing the whole Google Meet thing. So I just thought it would be easier for them if I gave them a step-by-step pictorial starting point. And then I've gone to every grade level meeting and shot out my cell phone number. And I've had lots of calls from teachers and I've walked them through how to create a Google Meet, how to record their sessions and post it on their Google Classroom site. So you're welcome to use that slideshow. You make it your own. Just make a copy of it first.
Right. No. I know that they did audit.
My big tip is to go to the EdTech YouTube site. Their trainings that they are streaming live are all archived there, and some of them are fantastic. I sat in on the Flipgrid one today, and that would be a great resource for you guys to share with your students, to share with your teachers. And Flipgrid added a new feature where you can record your screen in little like 1.5-minute segments, and it's super easy to use. It's phenomenal what you can do with this. Vicki typed in, why use Flipgrid? I like Flipgrid because you can actually, they can tell you their response. Some kids don't write things as well, and they will rather talk them to you. You can make the grid private. You can also have a feature turned on where you preview the video before it goes live, so you don't have to worry about anyone posting inappropriate content. But it's a great way to make their thinking visual.
Oh, okay.
And this morning's training I can't even speak this morning. It was a Flipgrid trainer that presented with John Shoemaker, and they did a phenomenal job. Along with the live stream, the chat is archived as well.
Awesome.
So you can see all the questions that were asked and answered in the chat. And there's some great presentations being given. This afternoon, Tanya Abreth is doing a live stream on Adobe Spark at 2:30. She's a fabulous presenter. And that would be a great tool to share with your teachers and with your students. Anyone else, any tips, techniques? Something you want to share with us all?
Well, I took your advice from last week when I spoke to the two of you at the end of the session, and you told me that sometimes I have to step outside my comfort zone. And on Friday, I did a presentation with one of the language arts teachers' classes, and I took them through the databases.
That is that.
So it was exciting to be able to do it, but I have to say at first I was very uncomfortable, but I'm glad that I listened to you.
Oh, I'm so glad. It's just nice to see the kids, right? Like,
It is.
we miss them. I'm so glad you did that, Nora.
So was I really was. So, and she was the only person who responded to the form, which was also your suggestion that I send out. So,
Send it out again.
I will. I definitely.
I had a great time presenting with so-and-so.
Okay.
I can do the same with your class. And, I love what you said, Nora, and I'm glad that we could, meet your needs. And what is a great segue into this slide that I hope everyone can see. This is a statement from Wanda K. Brown, who's the outgoing president of ALA. She put this in her message when they canceled the ALA conference for June. But this is really what we're doing. And it's what librarians are best at, adapting and reinventing ourselves and supporting our communities. And I thought this was a wonderful way to think about what we're doing right now. And I am so proud to work with all of you guys that are trying so hard to flip this thing and support your teachers and reach out to your students, despite being sometimes even rejected by some of them. So keep it up, because honestly, this is important to our school communities, and it's really great work. And you guys are amazing what you're doing right now. So I hope you feel at least cherished by Lisa and I, if not your administration.
It was really, which,
It's Laura.
You.
It's Laura. I just wanted to say that I've actually had some good luck lately with teachers not using pirated copies, but I have reached out to several publishing companies and have had some amazing luck just begging them, thanking them graciously for all the things that they're already doing. But I did get one publishing company to send me a one-time use PDF of a novel. And I got another publishing company to agree to let me scan 25% of a novel at a time and post. So teachers are getting happier about that, but reaching out directly.
Isn't that terrific? Just that I think in this time they're really willing to help us, and they
are.
They
and reaching out,
being asked instead of pirated.
Yeah, reaching out directly has definitely helped a lot. And then another thing that I did that my teachers are loving right now is I went on Facebook and I joined as many middle school groups as I could find for social studies, science, math, and I just started putting together a Google site for them for all the different companies that now are offering their resources for free. And so they're all in one place for my teachers, and I publish that for them and keep updating it. And so they're loving that right now as a resource for them from me.
So that's great. You push out things that are curated just for them, and you'll really get a good response.
Yeah, yep, it's going well.
Neat thing.
Yay, I'm so glad, Laura. There's a wealth of resources out there on social media, and it's overwhelming, and you just curating it for them is going to help your teachers so much.
Exactly.
So Alonzo posted a link to his Google site in the chat. I reshared it. His site is fantastic. It's a great model to use if you're thinking about building a digital site. Alonzo, you totally stepped outside your comfort zone and went techie, and I'm proud of you for that. And it's awesome. He did a great job. So, and Lisa, I'm so glad you did a live meet with your book club. That must have been so much fun to see them.
Well, there's our ending slide, and there's a reminder about the bit.ly for our total support site, the Library Current Google site, with all our links where we archive these presentations after their recording is finished, where Lisa puts the newsletters, where we put each new thing we're finding. Lots of information there. So check back at that site once in a while and see what's new. And let us know what you need, and we'll see about adding it to the site. And next week, April 14th, we'll be back here at 11 a.m. again to share and hear what's good news and see what's changed and all those kind of things. So
Awesome.
we hope you'll encourage some of your other middle school media specialist colleagues. If you have somebody you usually work with or collaborate with or at least angst with, get them to join us for these sessions so we can get the word out about different things. Also, next week, we're having Topical Tuesday. It was what we were doing before this all happened. And I know that's an extra meeting, but we're going to do 30 minutes with Robin Heston from Gale. If you need to know how to leverage Gale material and get it into Google Classroom. So we'll be sending out an invite to that. She's going to spend the 30 minutes showing you how to add things to Google Classroom and so on. And you can invite your teachers that are struggling with Google Classroom or need to find articles that it's okay to distribute to every kid. This is the place to find them when you're doing those the nonfiction type of things or research or essays and so on. You need 2 articles to compare and contrast. You could get them from the Gale resources and pump them right into your Google Classroom. And it's totally within fair use because of our subscription and so on. So it might be something also of interest to your teachers. So we'll throw that out there next week for those of you that want help with Google Classroom and using the Gale resources.
Holly, what time will that be?
And we were doing that from 2:30 to 3.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'll send an invite so that it shows up on your calendar and send an email. But I just negotiated that with Robin Heston right before I came on this meeting. We were working on that. So we confirmed that in a phone call right before I logged in. So that's our topical Tuesday.
Awesome.
I will work on getting the newsletter together for you and getting it out by the end of the day in between cooking for our virtual Seder for tonight.
Yeah, Lisa's taking this afternoon off. Get ready for her holiday.
I don't want to. That is not afternoon off. But
well, she's not working. She's cooking.
All good, but I will get that newsletter to you guys all this afternoon. And there are some Mac and Via tutorials I will put in the newsletter as well. I did a couple quick tutorials about the back end, so you don't have to remember everything we said.
Yep. And she made those with Flipgrid, right, Lisa?
I did. And then I downloaded them.
Really good.
And then I downloaded them and I uploaded them to YouTube so they could be in 2 different places. And I embedded those into Library Current. They're on the site right now. So.
I can't even exit this so I can say goodbye. It is not going away.
It's all good.
We'll just do this, maybe.